this. Has anyone ever seen the movie The Lion King? Yeah, well, Benny loves Lion King. Okay, so we're learning a lot about Benny today. She doesn't like Domino's Pizza. She's a big fan of Lion King. Uh, Anyone else seen it? Just the front row. Great, good. Okay. Anyone seen the remake, the live action remake of it? Okay, Domino's live action remake, right? Anyone seen the West End show? Yeah. Anyone seen it on Broadway? Fancy, Tasha's fancy. Seen it on Broadway? It's a great story. It was originally based on Hamlet, I think. Is that right? Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet. The reason I say that is I'm going to spoil it for you, but if you haven't seen it, you've had plenty of time to see it, and so it's not my fault. Like, you could have read Hamlet, or you could have seen many of the iterations of it. But basically, what the story of Lion King is about a lion cub who is born called Simba. He is born to the king Mufasa, and he's the heir of the Lion King. That's why it's called the Lion King, Mufasa. Mufasa's king, not just of the lions, but all the animals in the Pride Lands. And then Simba is born, and Simba is his heir. Now, one day, Mufasa's brother, a guy called Scar, I say guy, a lion called Scar. Yeah, that would be weird, wouldn't it? Like, I don't understand that. Anyway, he's very jealous of Mufasa. He wants to be king himself, so he kills Mufasa. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare you. I didn't prepare you for that mentally, right? He kills Mufasa, and he tries to kill Simba, but Simba escapes, which is good news. And Simba leaves the Pride Lands, his homeland, and he ends up being in the wilderness, in the outlands, and is raised by a warthog and a meerkat called Timon and Pumbaa, and it's hilarious. And they raise him, they adopt him, and they raise him, and Simba is he's a lion, and he is born to be the king, not just of the lions, but of all the animals. But he doesn't grow up as a lion. He's raised by a meerkat warthog combo. And the meerkat warthog combo, they teach him not to hunt for like gazelles and stuff, but to like eat bugs and to like look under rocks to find things to eat, and Hakuna Matata, and it's all very happy. And there's a scene, I think it's in the live action remake. I've got Josiah, a 7-year-old, is a bit obsessed, and so I don't know which one's which. They all believe I've seen them about 100 million times. What used to be quite an entertaining movie is now been ruined by Josiah watching it on repeat. But I think it's in the live action remake that there's a scene where there's like a gazelle who's in like the jungle, and this gazelle sees that there's like some bushes in front of him, and they're rustling, and the gazelle gets scared. And they rustle more and more, and then suddenly Simba jumps out, now a fully grown lion with the mane and everything, jumps out chasing a butterfly. And you say, and the gazelle kind of gets really scared and then goes, "Oh, phew, it's only you, Simba. I thought it was a real lion." I know. I thought he was a real lion, because even though he is a lion, and he was born to be a lion, he was born to be king of the lions. He's not living as a lion, and therefore he's no longer a real lion. He's not living what he's created to live, therefore he is no longer a real lion. Now, he goes back, I'm going to ruin the rest of it for you too. He goes back to the Pride Lands, he defeats Scar, he becomes king, and he lives out what he was created to live. He becomes a real lion again. Let me put it another way. Next month is Tasha and my 12th anniversary. We've been married for 12 years. Well done. It's like one of us has aged more than the other. Like, I'm not saying, I just don't want to say who it is, but one of us is looking significantly older than the other one. One of us still gets ID'd when we go to the shop, and one of us gets offered seats on tube trains. I'm not going to say who's who. Not going to say that, but that's the facts of life. We've been married for 12 years next month, and I'm very excited. Now, so 12 years ago, we were in a beautiful church building in Liverpool, not this sort of building, an actual beautiful building. And we were dressed very nice, and we were stood in front of a room filled with our family and our friends who were all dressed very nice. And while we were stood in that room at the front of everybody, we both made a vow. And I made a vow to be Tasha's husband for the rest of her life. Right? That's what the promise I made. I vowed to be, till death do us part, to be her husband. But who knows that you don't make that decision just once. I made that decision there. I made that declaration in front of all those people on that day. But guess what? I have to make the same decision the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and every day since. For me to live as her husband, I have to daily choose to be her husband. Because it's possible to say something one day and then live a very different way another day. It would be possible for me to say that I'm going to be married to Tasha and I'm going to be her husband one day, but then to live a completely different lifestyle. And actually, I may be her husband on paper, but in reality, not be her husband at all. In fact, it's likely that we all know people who've experienced something like that. See, there's a difference between saying something once and making a decision every single day. There's a big difference. And so when I say that we need to submit to the lordship of Jesus, by doing that, by submitting to the lordship of Jesus, we're living the way that we're called to live. We're living the way we were created to live. We're doing the thing that we were created for. Like when Simba was living as a lion in the Pride Lands, he was living the way he was created to live. But when he was out being raised by Timon and Pumbaa, he wasn't. He was living a different lifestyle and he wasn't a real lion anymore. For us to live the life that we were created for, the one that we were designed to live, the one that we were purposed for, we need to submit to the lordship of Jesus. But it can't be a one-off decision. Go, oh yeah, I did that. I was at an event once, I put my hand up, job's done, job's good, that's it. That's not submitting to the lordship of Jesus. Maybe it was that day in that moment, but it is a daily decision. And it's a decision we make when things are good, same with marriage. And it's a decision we make when things aren't good. It's a decision we make on the rough days, the happy days, on the mountaintop and in the valley, when it's sunny or when it's raining. It's a decision we make each and every day. And if we're to follow Jesus, if we're to submit to the lordship of Christ, if we're to live the life that we were created to live out that purpose, not to be foolish, but to be wise, we need to submit to the lordship of Jesus. We need to do it day in, day out. And it's something that we can't rush. It's going to take time.